Wait. What's going on here? Let's see what's going on. Maybe that's better. Let me refresh it. Should be good. That's good now. Cool. All right. So, I mean, this is a lot of chop, similar to yesterday with the FOMC meeting tomorrow, but there's a few things that I'm keeping a good eye on, right? So, I really kind of like this 407 support line from the daily chart. We're kind of hovering around that VWAP level. So, I have a very good feeling that we're going to end up seeing low of the day by the end of the day. I feel like people around 2:30, 3 o'clock are going to start selling pretty aggressively heading into the FOMC meeting. We did have that massive drop earlier today, so it might be priced in. I don't think so, to be honest. I know we're starting to spike above this VWAP level, but these contract levels will be pretty good movers, I would say, with some of these moves that we have set up. I like this 15-minute chart. It kind of looks like it's going to be a little bit more of a breakout on 411 than anything, but 30-minute chart as well. Kind of feeling like it's going to start pushing up a little bit. We are bouncing at that 410 level. The next level that I'm going to take puts is probably going to be either at this high of the day or this 410 breakdown. So anything below this most recent low, I feel like we could start to plummet pretty nicely. Probably only going to take one trade, maybe two, with some decent contracts. I'm up a little bit on this. Right before I went live, I took a nice little SPX trade. So we're up about like 380 on this day so far on this little account. But we're going to try to push this to about 500 to 1,000. Let's see if we can get there. Tesla was something I had on high watch earlier today with that 165 test. Already hit that and now are rejecting. There's a lot of room down on Tesla too. So if the FOMC meeting is weak tomorrow, this is definitely one to pay attention to. This one has a ton of downside. The FOMC meeting is going to cause a lot of volatility. We kind of gave back everything over from the last 4 days, kind of gave that all back this morning. Starting to bounce a little bit here, but this is starting to expand the Bollinger Band to the downside. And if I look at the weekly chart, I know there's a ton of lines on this. I'll get rid of them real quick. There is a ton of room down. So I wouldn't even be counting out this 403 level, 403.50 tomorrow, if not worse, below 400, if they raise the rates by 25 basis points, which would probably push this to a pretty aggressive sell-off. So we haven't seen a $10 drop day in a long time. Have a weird feeling that's going to be coming up here pretty soon. But if they pause the rates, we might have a short-term bounce up to this most recent high of 418, 417, 420 level. So a lot could happen tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of volatility. You're not going to see a lot of action until about 2 o'clock. But luckily for us, I'll be live at 2:30. So I feel like we're going to drop, but not going off of feelings. I'm not going off of feelings either. You can't ever do that. You can't predict what's going to happen. So just kind of have to push the limit here. $410.57. Yeah, there's not. It's been pretty choppy after this morning fade. The fade this morning was ridiculous. If you guys were playing puts, it was a pretty wild ride. I mean, look at these 4100s. They're obviously theta decay gets to you, especially as it gets closer to expiration. These are the same day expirations, but 52 cents, meaning $52 a piece. They were even lower at one point, but once they started breaking out, they even like popped up to like $100 a piece. Ended up running to 1600 at the top. I mean, 15 minutes later, it went from 100 to over $800 a contract. Ridiculous. I caught a lot of that downside earlier, but I also caught Microsoft. I don't know if anybody was playing Microsoft earlier, but they were really, really strong while the market was weak. I was playing this little pullback and then that rip towards that 309. I think it was 308.90 yesterday was the high. So I was playing that test. It broke, and then it came back with the market. But there was a lot of strength there, a lot of buyers, so I ended up playing that. And then it took the nice little SPX pullback. As of right now, there's no trades that I can see available. But I do kind of want to see any setups for tomorrow, right? We got a nice little inside candle here on Nvidia heading into tomorrow. There's also AMD earnings after hours, so keep that in mind. Another semiconductor stock, so could look at that. You could also play some sympathy plays with the SMH, which is the semiconductor ETF. I feel like that's a really good opportunity as well. It's an ETF, so it's pretty slow, but if you think they're going to do well, the SMH will push with NVIDIA. As you can see, it's literally the exact same chart as AMD. So it makes a lot of sense for it to push up if you believe in it. I don't really know if AMD will perform well or not. I haven't really been keeping tabs on the semiconductor industry. I've just been trading NVIDIA with all of its strength. But if it is strong, you will see NVIDIA potentially test 300 tomorrow. So if FOMC is good and there's good earnings, I wouldn't even be surprised to see this engulf this inside candle and push towards 300. But on the downside, we could probably see 270, if not a much more massive gap down after this massive run-up we've seen over the last 3 months, 4 months, whatever this has been. But NVIDIA is definitely on my highest watch tomorrow. The SPY, of course, has a ton of levels. I feel like tomorrow we're going to get a ton of volatility, whether it's going to be at this 403 level or this 418 from a little while back. And then if it gets to that 418, it's a clear path to 420. And then above 420, I would see that 431 as the next resistance point. It'd be pretty crazy to see it all the way back up at 430 because everybody's calling for this huge market crash. I personally don't think that's going to happen. I think that we could potentially see like 360 again, 370, but I don't think it's going to be a black swan event where we're down to like 220 again. So just waiting for it here. I'm not seeing too much of an opportunity till probably about 3 o'clock I would look for a trade. The only other last analysis thing I really want to talk about is Coinbase. I got an alert around this 50 mark that I wanted to buy some shares for the long run because, I mean, this thing can just spike. But it's also $31 right here. So I'm thinking about selling some puts on this trade, maybe like $48 puts. And if I did that, I would sell probably next week's. They have earnings, so these implied volatility percentage is very, very high. And once it's that high, if it doesn't move as much as it's implying to move, the contracts will literally just get shredded apart. So these $300 contracts could be worth a couple, $100 less. So I would just collect this premium, and then if it ends up going down a lot, let's say it goes down to 46, then I would have to exercise my shares at 49 at expiration. But by the time it gets to this point, I don't even think that these would be worth $300. So it could be a nice little collection of some premium, just pay myself before I get into long-term shares. But even if I get filled at 48, I can't even be upset about that because if it ever bounces back up to the 70 mark, 100 contracts would be about $2,800 or $2,200 off of $5,000 or $4,800 position. So Coinbase can run as soon as Ethereum and Bitcoin start to find their base and start to run the other way, which I feel like is probably in the near future here pretty soon, getting up to this $2,200 level or $2,500 level. Coinbase is going to run as well. But earnings are this week, so selling some premiums doesn't sound like a bad idea there. But let's get back to this SPY, because I feel like these are going to have to be scalp plays, right? Since the FOMC is tomorrow, nobody really knows the direction. We're going to have to probably scalp one candle. So when you see a massive breakout like this, try to buy the top of the green candles. Don't buy a wick that's like this because then the premium's all screwed up. But The afternoon trading, I'm telling you guys, you don't need to be buying 10 at a time, 5 at a time, 20 at a time. You could literally buy 2 or 3 at a time and be making almost $1,000 off of a couple moves. It's pretty crazy how much these contracts can move. But you got to be on the right side and keep your stop loss small. So that R multiple that I always talk about with risk management is everything. MINM. You guys love penny stocks in this channel. MINM. What is that? That's pretty wild. I'm not touching that, but that is pretty dope. I don't even know how people catch these things. You just have a scanner for like, give me the shittiest stock in the stock market, and let's see if we can run it up to 1 million. All right, let's see. SPY's not doing too much. This is a nice bounce. It is kind of seeming like it's going to might retest this up for 1126. I'm pretty biased to the downside, so I don't really have a full conviction that it's going to go that way, but I also don't like to trade within this middle range. So once it gets up to this level, I'll most likely try to rip some puts for the downside. Maybe I'll take the breakout for the break back down, but we'll see here. I'm not a breakout trader. I'm more of a reversal trader, so just feel like the premiums are always so much better. Everybody wants to be the Wolf of Wall Street. Pennies are just like... Pennies is where Deck made most of his money. Yeah, well, I mean, 2020 and 2021, Deck is an animal, but you could have literally thrown shit on the wall, and I think it would have made money in any stock. There was literally 4 stocks, I think, that were under $1 at one point, which is absurd. So if you didn't make money in 2020, 2021, you should probably run far, far away. Let's see, what do we want to do here? You guys remember the Atlas Trading Group? They pumped all those penny stocks up. He turned I think it was like $8,000 into it was like 50 million or something crazy like that, just from pumping penny stocks in his group chat because he had like 300,000 people in it or like over 1 million people in it. Yeah. They were nuts. I honestly stayed. I always checked and see what they were doing. I personally didn't buy one stock that he ever talked about. Sometimes I regretted it, but I could never get myself to do it. Especially from being on New York Stock Exchange and knowing how all those penny pumps work. I could tell he was going to get in trouble in no time. You can't just be pumping penny stocks with low floats like that and then tweeting about it and telling everybody. You get like a whole cult like that. That's hella illegal. I don't know if he's going to go to jail, though. He probably paid for a really great lawyer. He'll probably pay a shit ton of money in fees and fines and all that other stuff and then never be allowed to trade in the market again. He'll probably get blackballed. What the hell? I don't know why I'm looking at Uber right now. Give me the SPY play one more time. We'll look at SPY. It's starting to cook up a little bit. I'm going to get close to the money, right? So these 41.18 SPX plays, they are really choppy, right? So near the end of the day, you're going to have to probably play really close to the money. Like these 41.20s are still pretty expensive, but $5 away from each other, pretty decent price. And if it starts to go your way, I mean, at this level, these are just worth 1,000, and now they're at 378. So I know that there's a lot of theta decay in a lot of these, but if you enter in at the perfect level, and I don't want to call it gambling, but it's almost like a calculated risk game. So if you take the levels right up here, your contracts can literally print. And if you're buying them, I like to buy them under about $300 during the end of the day because I don't want to go in too heavy. But around these levels right here. So if this, say I buy this around like 250, 240, and I top tick this and it sees a nice little wick, I'll be up $100, $200, $300 a contract like that. So this is what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at this red line. At this red line touch, I'm probably going to try to take a trade for this little wick rejection. We are pretty strong right now, so I'm going to wait for that. But to me, it looks really good. Lots of volume coming in right now, so I'm going to stay away. But look at this. This was just at 300 a piece. So these just ran $50 off this baby ass wick. So I'm telling you, if you can get these rejections, they will pay you. And they will pay real nice. These are same day expirations. They are the SPX. So if you're not The best trader, or you're not real quick on your feet, I would probably stay away from them, especially because there's probably a delay in the live stream. So just make sure that you're playing the level. 28 million in assets seized. Holy shit. Did you see at 10 a.m. Bitcoin was pumping and S&P 500 dumped? Why is that? Going to jail. Oh, he is going to jail. $28 million. Damn. He lived like a king though. For the 2 years that he had that money, he was living like a king. He was in Punta Cana. He got divorced. He was just like literally with random people all the time. It was nuts. Putting all the dirt on video. He was also just Zach Morris. He was also just tweeting. He's like, look for the low float and let's pump the shit out of these stocks. Like you can't just say that. 15? That's wild. They won't get all 15 of them. Honestly, if they used that following for anything else, they would be probably richer than $28 million in assets. They could have used that and just like created a company with how many people were following them. Like build like a hat brand or something. Sell it to 1 million people, upcharged. You made more than $28 million right there. Notice how these contracts are really decaying. So at any point here at this 411, I'm looking at this red line here. I might wait for a little bit of the breakout because this is two bullish engulfing patterns. So I feel like it's trying to squeeze a little bit more. This is not a good setup at all. These are literally just going to be scalp plays. So I won't go heavy on them whatsoever. I'll have quick stops no matter what. But even like this right here just paid $40 a contract. And if you have 10 of those, oh my God. Just went right here. It didn't exactly hit my red line yet, so I'm going to be a little patient. It's at the top of this Bollinger Band. I feel like this is probably a nice resistance point. 411 is holding up. There is quite a bit of volume, I won't lie, but look at this. This little wick right here just went from 230 to 310, and it's probably going to go even higher. Now it's at 320. You get this to red at all. It's not going to go red because, I mean, this is a bullish engulfing. You're probably just going to get some buyers to push this back up, but I don't think I want to play the call side. I'm personally too biased to the downside to play calls, but it does look pretty good, other than that this is a huge sell signal on that wick, but I've seen this a million times where it's probably going to retest that high. But I won't go into it just yet. I'm going to be as patient as possible. I'm waiting for that red line tap. How are you done on the day? How you doing on the day? I actually I'm up quite a bit today on the larger account that I trade. Live stream account, I'm up about 389, I think. Let's take a look. 389. Took one SPX trade a little bit ago, and then was playing with Tesla a little bit. And now I'm looking for another good trade for you guys live. I really think it's going to be the downside around this that red line tap. So, I caught a lot of the drop. But honestly, a pretty close second to why I'm up a couple grand today is because of SPX or because of Microsoft. I went pretty heavy on this run up right here. Caught this, actually sold this top, and then once it started to battle back down, I took that retest from that high of the day yesterday, and got out mostly there. So Microsoft was actually a really great trade for me earlier, and so was a lot of this SPX. I didn't catch the whole drop. I was kind of just scalping any little green pops, and I would just sell the next big red candle down. But I caught a lot of that. So far here in the afternoon, I haven't really caught anything just yet, but I am looking for a good trade. Bollinger Band on the SPY is kind of pointing right at it, and we're kind of right at this consolidation line. So let me see what's going on here. $411.18, $411.25. These 41.15 puts are really good because they're only $4 away from in the money, and if this ever does pull back pretty crazy, you will see a massive, massive spike in premium, as you can already tell. I mean, you could have bought 10 contracts here and been up $1,000 already, and it's very minuscule risk because you can set your stop loss real close, and then as it pushes your way, you can literally just follow it up for having no risk on the trade whatsoever. I don't really want to buy calls, but I do feel like it's going to push above this red line before I get involved. So just taking it easy for now. Once it gets to that level, I might set an alert right at this level. So create an alert right around this 411.25. Let's have it ring to us a little bit. Instead of a bell, let's have some chimes. Let's get soothed into this trade. So what platform am I using? This is Thinkorswim. TD Ameritrade. Commissions are pretty wild, but that's why you don't trade a lot. Can't have a ton of fills. Can't have a ton of fills out. Here we go. Here's going to be that push on that green candle. The best way to trade the end of the day. They are a lot smaller, a lot smoother, but the contracts pay so much better. And I still play the morning all the time. The morning I love to play the morning volatility. It's a lot easier to get in and out of trades. They move a lot faster. But these contracts, like if you are in at the right time, you can get paid way more than the morning will pay you. So a little bit riskier because of how the theta is, especially if you're playing same days, which I do. But you can always play the SPY a couple days out, tomorrow expiration, a couple weeks out for some day trades, whatever you want to do. If you don't like the quick in and out movements and you're not really good at your entry fills, you could always give it some time because buying time a little bit more expensive, but a lot safer. All right. A little boring, but here we go. We're going to get this. We're going to get this pullback. It's going to be one nice little trade. It's almost 3 o'clock, so 3 o'clock could be that real push. Either that push up or that push down. We're going to get a good direction either way. Honestly, if we wanted to take the 4100s right now, you know how crazy that would be on that pushback? You could buy like 20 of those things. You probably only risk like 42 cents a piece. Oof. Look at this. They were just worth 400. Think of the opportunities here. If this pulls back to this 4100, which it was right here, it's only $12 away. So one spike down below this VWAP would get this pretty close to 4100. Right around this level, actually. I would say probably around 409.50s. But if we reject near the end of the day in a whole hour these $42 contracts, 10 of these, you could take $400 to well over probably 4,000. That's a lotto play. It's very risky. I don't know if I would do that, but it's a thought. It is a thought. You know, honestly, maybe. No, I'm not going to gamble these, but it would be a hell of a trade. SPY cup and handle, SPY or drop at resistance. So I'm waiting for this test. If I miss the drop, I might be a little upset, but I'm waiting for this test. And as it I don't want to get in too early because if it just chops around for a little bit and then goes against me, then I'll be getting stopped out and I'll be pissed. So I'm going to wait for the perfect entry. You have to do that in the afternoons, so just going to wait. We're going to get our afternoon trade and we're going to be on our very merry way. Just waiting for her. It's going to happen. I'm telling you guys, it's going to happen. This is pretty brutal. It's going to happen. It's going to push right up. I've seen this before. So there's a nice little bullish engulfing. It's kind of getting up there. It's rejecting a little bit. This is that high. I probably want to wait like 10 more cents. I feel like these 41.15s could be worth under 200 pretty easily. Probably like 140, 150. I might scoop up like 5 of them and see if we can scoop up a nice little $100 contract, make a quick $500 off a pullback, if not more. I could even buy 10 and scale out of like 6, ride 4 down, see if we can make about 1,000, and then keep my stop loss about maybe $200. I'd only be up 189, but that's a solid trade. Risk to reward ratio, baby. You got to make sure that the volume doesn't come in though. See how the volume is kind of fading off up here? Probably going to see somebody come in here and have a nice little. Well, it's 301 right now, so we're going to pick a right direction here. 30 minutes showing a bullish engulfing. So we might be bullish. I am biased to the downside, so I'm not going to be going full force here. It did just tap my 411.25. It didn't execute my alert yet. I wish it did. Not yet. Still bullish. Every time you see a big red rejection, if you see buyers pushing it back up, that means bullish. So this 411 breakdown would probably start to be that push down. But we're still in a little uptrend here. That might be the... No, we're getting some buyers still. 411, 410.98. 411. I'm really looking for this 411.25 break. I want to see this test, but it kind of looks like it did test it. Was there any 411.25s on the time and sales? 411, 18, 17, 21, 22. Nah, it only got to 411.22. So there's a sell wall of 411.22 right now, but I wanted to break it, push through, and then have the next batch of sellers come through, which I think is going to happen. So every time you break down, if that bullish run comes back, it is bullish. So I know it's taking a second. What is the indicator with the green bars? Oh, this is the TTM squeeze. It shows you how strong it is, meaning that there's no volume. We're at 78 million in volume, which is actually pretty decent. It's usually average around 94, 96 million in a day. Anywhere from like that 90 to 96 range is really great. Tomorrow, you're probably going to see volume of like 130 because of the FOMC meeting. A lot of people are going to be involved. But TTM squeeze is what that is. Basically like RSI, kind of showing me. This is how my trades are set up, right? So I trade the Bollinger Bands, right? So let's go 15-minute chart here. Boom. Actually, 5-minute would probably be a lot easier to explain this. So I'm a reversal trader, right? So every time that I like to take a reversal off the Bollinger Band, I have to make sure that there's not a lot of volume and it's not entering into a squeeze. Because if you enter into a squeeze and you're trying to take a reversal trade, you're screwed. Like this, right? So it's at the bottom of the Bollinger Band. You want it to bounce, but it got dumped. And the only way you know that is if it enters into a squeeze. So I use this TTM squeeze to really figure that out. And if this dark red shows a lot of pressure, dark red means a lot of pressure. Light red means that it's kind of like leveling off a little bit here. And then the green kind of shows me that it's going up. So that's how I know if it's going to ride up the Bollinger Band or if it's kind of getting a little bit exhausted. So as soon as I saw this start to turn pink and then I saw this hammer candle, I was like, oh, here comes a rally, right? At the bottom of a Bollinger Band, you get a hammer candle, buyers are there, and then the TTM squeeze is showing that there's some true pressure on the upside now because the downside is losing steam, and then boom. That's really kind of what I look for. So TTM squeeze, Bollinger Bands, and volume. That's really my strategy. I think we might have missed this rejection again. Damn. So it is pulling back, and you can tell that these went from 150 to 280. So I missed it by like a centimeter. I was waiting for that actual retest, but here comes that sell-off. Notice how much these paid, $165 to $330 a piece. Damn. Damn, I missed that. I was waiting for a little bit more. I just wanted to test this red line right at this high for 11.29, and I saw a massive sell block at 22. I was hoping for that push above, and then we would have got a hold of it. But with this downside pressure, we could catch a little tail. We'll see. I'm still on the downside. I'm not taking the upside, so let's see if this can be a nice little rodeo for us. Below VWAP, we are going to go right to this level. So I'm going to draw these lines for us right here. This is probably like my target zone of yellow. And then there is a big drop down that went away. But these are the levels right now. This is the uptrend it's in on the blue. This is that resistance point. Yellow is that recent low. And then there's obviously a massive support line from the low of the day. Probably right here is going to be the next one, 408.30. But I think it's just I don't think it's going to sell off to low of the day, even though the FOMC is tomorrow. I'd be surprised if we rallied, to be honest. But stranger things have happened. But this is coming back down now, 230. I don't think that I want to buy a put because this is starting to form like a nice little cup and handle situation. We could break out. That's actually very interesting. Starting to catch some buyers down here. Looks like it's still in a little bit of an uptrend. Bollinger Bands are expanding. This is a cup. Could be a little bit of consolidation over here before we break out towards the end of the day. I don't want to see that happen, but I want to be smart and I don't want to give away some gains. We did have a $200 loss yesterday, so we are up about $200 now on the live stream account. Just trying to get this above that consistent $500 a day, and we'll do that. Yesterday was a very choppy day. Mondays are awful. Just took a quick scalp for 50%. Dr. Pimper, you are the man. That was a great entry too. You had it. You called it. Even if it wasn't a bullish uptrend, that it even had to create this almost like this cup and handle like formation. But like I said, you got to be in and out at the end of the day. You got to be in. You got to take it, and you got to You got to have a small stop loss as well. So I mean, if you got in near this red line up here around like 180, 190, and you sold at 340, you're a beast. I mean, that's a massive return because on the other side right here it goes from 340 to 225. You don't want to get caught chasing at all on the day. In the mornings, I like to go with momentum. You cannot really go with momentum at the end of the day. So just be careful. You could try to buy, see this breaks down huge. You think more sellers are going to come in here. You buy at 330, you chase, bam, you're down $120 a contract, and you're fucked. So you gotta risk manage yourself. You kind of have to take the opposite of whatever's happening for those quick bounces, get in and get out. And if you can master that kind of skill there, that quick little entry with a small stop loss, and you're able to get yourself out of the position in a quick way, you can make a ton of money off the end of the day. So I'm sitting here looking at these, and they just got diminished by about $120 a contract on this run-up. Looks like it's trying to get back up towards this red line, which is where I'm going to take advantage of that. So we're at 411.05 now. We got that entire buy up. 15 minutes still looks bullish. I'm going to wait for that breakout, potentially, or at least that close level, and then I'm going to get back in. So now these contracts are just about as low as they were. So we didn't miss out on anything just yet, except for maybe the call side. But again, I'm biased. If you're in the call side, you're a better person than I am. 15 looks damn good. This Bollinger Band, though, does not look good. It did try to break out, so I don't know that I love that. 1 hour is always going to tell me a better story. Still looks pretty bullish to me. Could run to 412. I wouldn't count that out either. I would say that this is a pretty nice resistance point from that 1 hour chart that I just pulled up. So If you go in the call side, I'm going to make this green because that would be a target. Might be helpful to leave this up for you guys, just like that. Dr. Pimper, let's go, baby. And a perfect sell for you as well. One candlestick drops, you got to stop. Boom. Just slow, choppy shit. All right, let's see if we can get this run a little bit above this. If we get some volume coming in here, I probably would stay away because I really am just kind of playing the puts right here. 41.15s, man. There's the push. If you're in calls right now, you are eating. We're right at this red line, but too big of a gap for me to take the reversal. This is going to go. There she goes. I'm waiting for like the push down. Let me move these to the 41.20s. I want to get closer to the money real quick. There she goes, going up to that 412. Let's see if we can get one sell around this 411.50. 411.40, 411.39, 411.40. Let's see if we can get one more little push up and then a nice wick down. We seem so bullish on all these larger time frames though. So maybe I'm chasing a pump reversal. I'll probably get stopped right away. So I gotta find out the perfect entry point, which might be at that 412 level. There was also a nice little resistance point at this 411.75. Maybe that's probably the best area. But let's see. Damn, that thing is strong. And there's not a ton of volume in it either. Notice how these contracts got crushed from 530 to 190. Dr. Pimper, you're chilling on that 50%. I hope you bought $20 million worth on that. 411.74, 411.74. The question is do I buy it? If we get those buyers above 411.50, we might enter into a squeeze. If I wasn't so biased, I would have probably played the call side on this run up, but I just, for some reason, when it becomes to the FOMC, I'm minored in economics, so I know too much about the economy, and I feel like the market should be directly reflecting where we're going to head. And I just think that it's too ugly out there for us to rally. But the market doesn't really reflect it often, so that's why I have a bias right now. Okay, so we're at 41.20. Could run up to this 412. 412 is that resistance point. 411.50 kind of just chilling right here. Give me one more little push. Lots of volume coming in here on this one as well. So if I can get that push right to this blue line, 411.75, probably going to enter into these 41.20 SPX puts. It'd be a quick scalp. Keep that in mind. I know the stream is a little bit behind, so keep these levels up to date. I'm probably going to scale into one around 411.75, maybe that break. And then at that 412, if it breaks above that, that'll be my stop loss. Maybe I should go to these 41.25 contracts instead. They're 360. It'd probably be pretty cheap, and they would pay a lot more too. No, I'm going to do 41.20s. That wick isn't really that large. I want one more push. There's a lot of volume right here on this candle. You can see it right here. Lots of volume pushing above this this most recent high. So a lot of buyers coming in there. I'm sure that, like I said, there's going to be some sellers up here, but it's sitting at this level. So it shows me that there's still a lot of strength. Time and sales still has a lot of buyers coming in above these 41, 411.40s, 42s. Yeah, tons of buyers right now. So I'm just going to let me get one more spike up. I'll take the reversal. It might be the 41.25s, guys. I'm going to switch. I know they're a little bit more expensive. You can still do the 41.20s, just scalp in and out. It's the best way to do it. Burned most of my cash earlier. That's all right. That is all right. If you're green on the day, it does not matter. I just cheated on my my workout. I forgot to stop it, so the Apple Watch thinks I was working out for 2.5 hours. All right, guys, we're getting up here. We're getting that push. We're still at this high mark. It's not high of the day by any means because of this massive pullback from 414, but we're only down $3 on the day. Like, it's still less than 1%. So even though we saw this massive sell-off, it's still, the market is just shit. Like, it's still not really doing anything besides trading in this range. If you're day trading and scalping and making really good money, that's all that matters. But if you're a swing trader, you're kind of buried right now. If you're trading the SPY, of course, because like Nvidia and Microsoft and all of them have been going crazy. But my next goal is this Coinbase. But let's stick to the SPY trade for a second. Looking right here at this 411.75 still. I would like to see that. The only reason I'm not entering puts right now is because this is a massive green candle with a lot of volume right here. Still feels like it has some room. Zoom in so we can get this at a good level here. A good view. That's a pretty decent view right here. So, still struggling a little bit. If that's the sell-off, I'm going to be pissed. Could probably use this as the next point of support and then the push up. But usually I like to take that red candle drop. These contracts just moved $115 a piece too. Would like to see the green test of this blue one, and then I'm in. No trades just yet. I don't want to get caught in the chop. Obviously, if I would have taken puts at anywhere but this level, I would have been stopped out. So I just don't want to force anything. Still in the 41.25 SPX puts. They're geared up. I'm not in them, but those are the ones I want to buy. The SPX is currently at 41.25, almost exactly. So that's kind of why I want to be in them, because the more close I am to the money at the end of the day, the more that the contracts will move. And as you can see, it was just worth about 900. It's 400 right now, but they were 325, and I think I may have missed that red. Looks pretty bearish. Just a little. These 41.20s are probably looking better on a percentage basis, though. For sure. 150 to 270. I really want to get in them, but I feel like I would be chasing at this level. Damn, if you got that, you're killing it. I couldn't do it. I got to do it at the levels that I have drawn. Oh man, that's crazy. Nothing hurts more than watching this go from 150 to 350 in one tick. Oh my god, that's $500 to $1,000 right there. I have to risk 500, and it's at 420, 440, dude. Wow. The end of the day, guys, I'm telling you, these contracts move so much better. So much better. But the timing is everything, so that makes it a lot harder. But that is pain. That is just I just needed 20 more cents and I would have been all over that. Oh yeah. We'll always have the right trade, Zach. And even if we get stopped out, it's still the right trade. You can't lose until you quit. That's how I describe it. Damn, that is brutal. That would have been 3 racks or so. I'm telling you what, you would make. There's just so much money to be made in the market, man. I mean, you look at these puts. You could have put $100. You could have put $1,000 in this trade earlier, and made yourself over $30K in the 41.20 puts. $1,000. This isn't every day, obviously, because that was a massive sell-off, but. Just look at the opportunities that pass you by sometimes. This you can't spend too much looking back, but like these were 80 cents a piece. 10 of those is $800, and if you sold them, obviously the top, $32K off of $800 blows my mind. But it's obviously very unlikely. But even like 800, and you sold the pop or the drop, it could have been 800 to 10,000 right here off a 20-minute hold. It's just the SPX is just unbelievable. I don't really like this wick up. But maybe I will chase this a little bit. It's at 300. Maybe I'll just dabble just a tiny bit just in case we do start to sell off. Let me see larger time frames here. This is the 5. Give me the third. Give me the 1 hour. The 1 hour really is everything. If you don't use the 1 hour chart, then you're messing up. You got to use the 1 hour in order to determine some levels and directions. 30-minute doesn't really look like it wants to do much. To be honest, it kind of looks like it wants to pop. The 15-minute chart still kind of just hovering. I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about the downside yet. I feel like we might just chop into the end of the day, and I don't want to force anything. This next candlestick will tell us a lot of shit, though. Man, that is brutal. That would have been the nice scalp. I got my wine water cup. SPXW. Let's take a look. It's not pulling up for me. I don't know. I don't trade it. I don't know all the ETFs like that. I know a lot of them, but I don't really know what that is. From 275 to 340 here. That's the weekly of SPX. Like the weekly chart. I like ES. There's so many out there. You know what I really want to invent? And none of you guys take this idea because I'm patenting it right now. Is the QQX. Think of how fucking crazy those 10x levered of the tech sector would be. That would be one of the craziest traded stocks, and we could make the commission off of that like 70 cents because there would be so much volume in it. I mean, the QQQ has 46 million in volume, traded less than this, but I just think that it would be a good idea. Your bottom left chart. Oh, this. This is my contract. So I can actually see the value of my contract, and I can get in and out right away. I could do 10 contracts, 30, 50. I can do one. I can push it down. I can set my stop loss over here. This is the best tool in the world. So I can actually say I want to trade these 4120 puts. I can see real time how much they are and get in and out right away. It's the best tool out there, in my opinion. This is also looking bullish. I don't really want to buy calls, but I think I might have to, guys. Oh, dude. I don't want to buy calls, but I think it's going to squeeze. Oh, yeah. Bottom left of your chart, man. This is, if you don't use, I don't know, what do you use usually? Do you use Lightspeed or whatever Deck and all them use? I'm a Thinkorswim guy. I'm pretty sure that Kush is too, but let me see. 4120, this is 59. This is pretty bullish, so I am going to say be very careful if you're doing any of these. There's no swing trades for me, and if you're trading tomorrow, be very careful. In the morning, you're most likely. I don't think that there's any data in the morning of tomorrow. Actually, that's a lie. There's definitely data. Let me see. Swinging anything into tomorrow is absolute insanity, in my opinion. I feel like there is so much volatility and levels that we can hit tomorrow during the day that it's just not even worth that theta decay overnight. You're just going to basically shred your contracts and lose money. We also have Apple on Thursday, so the next 2 days are going to be nuts. Literally nuts. So the economic calendar is showing that tomorrow morning we have, let's see, tomorrow is May 3rd. Yep. We have core inflation data, which really isn't that important. We have the unemployment rate early off. Oh, wait, no. That's not right. Oh, that's Canada. My bad. Let me look at the U.S. I wonder what the unemployment rate in Canada is. We have ISM services, PMI data tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Mortgage rate pre-market, that could probably cause a little bit of volatility, but the big decision is the Federal Reserve interest rate decision, then Powell at 3:30. Most of the time, you'll see a fake out right at the decision. If it's 0.25 basis points, it's probably going to be pretty flat because that's what people are expecting. If there's no rate raise, we're probably going to explode, probably like the 418, which is not bullish whatsoever, but it should real quick. It should explode real fast, and then people will start to realize that deflation is really bad for the economy as well. So we're kind of in a pickle. But then 2:30 will come around, and then Jerome Powell always spikes the market. So I wouldn't even be surprised if we see a massive rally tomorrow. But if anything above 0.25 basis points, they are printing money like crazy to save all these banks, and they're not really broadcasting it or telling it or showing how that's going to affect the market. But if they somehow raise 0.5 basis points to tame their supply, the debt ceiling is also approaching as well. The U.S. is running out of money because they keep printing money and it's worthless, and we're not becoming the reserve currency anymore. So if somehow they raise above 0.25, which I don't think they will, because we would just crash. We would go probably 389 tomorrow, 393. But what I'm trying to say is don't swing trade anything, because you're going to get a lot of chop early on until 2 o'clock, and then you'll see a lot of massive moves. And when these contracts are moving this much with minuscule moves, think of how much it gets when you have something like the FOMC meeting. I've seen contracts move from $20 a piece to over $6,000 a piece. You got to hold for a while, and obviously that's a whole ass gamble, but I've seen these contracts go ridiculous. I can't believe the Knicks are playing the Heat. It is looking weaker, but it's also just chopping. I feel like we might just chop into the end of the day. I won't trade anything after 3:45. So those 20-minute ticks, I could either get involved or run away. Kind of feels like this is going to spike up towards this 411.75 that I was scared of before. But this red line is showing a lot of resistance right now. I could go put side, but it just doesn't feel like it's going to be the put side. I feel like everybody else is biased enough to be like, all right, let's buy puts. Let's buy puts. Let's buy puts. So that's why you don't buy puts. But I think that this is going to go up towards that 412. So maybe I just got to kill my bias real quick. Do these 40.25s. Look at this. Tell me these contracts don't move. $65 a piece to $350 a piece off of this move. What? It's ridiculous. You catch one of those, and you're up $300. You make that every single day. It's $100K a year in 2 seconds. It's ridiculous. And what's your risk? 65. You set a stop loss of. At 45, it was $20, and you could potentially make $300. It's like you spend $20 walking outside nowadays. All right, let's get rid of these 40 contracts before something crazy happens. Maybe we'll start with 3. These push 41.25s. We're basically in the money right now. I don't think it's gonna completely rally, but they're getting cheap. It's odd that they're not moving that much, but you can get burned on these, so be very careful. 41.25s. Oh, this is the daily chart. I was wondering why I wasn't moving. Uptrend on the 15. Could very easily see this 41.30. I'm starting to flip my mindset, and that's usually where I get screwed on the end of the day. It looks bullish, but I don't want it to be bullish. $41.25. Let's see if we can squeak something crazy out right here. I know that the puts contracts are going to be basically worthless right now. So if there is a crazy sell-off, we would make a ton of money. But this upside just looks good. We're entering into a nice little uptrend. If it gets above that 411.50, The thing with this is you don't want to wait till it gets to those levels at the end of the day. You want to catch it before because that's where the premium pump is. It's kind of fun trading the end of the day like this. I won't lie. 41.30 or 130 a pop. They would be worth like probably 400 a piece here on the call side. Feels like those large upper wicks are kind of, it won't stay above that red resistance point that I have right now. Volume's starting to come in. Honestly, I mean, it's almost 3:30, so I have about 15 minutes to take a trade here. I just want to wait for that perfect one. I missed this dump, but I missed this dump, my bad. This doesn't feel like it's the worst opportunity. I want it bad, but it's too choppy. And there it is. There's the dump. Still in this uptrend, though. So if I wanted to buy some calls, it's probably right now. You got to buy the opposites of these, but this looks really weak. I mean, that's a massive drop down. $41.25s. Give it 1 second. 210. These aren't really moving that much. It just fell $100. I guess it's only like 20 cents, but that's bearish now. I flipped my my mindset, and that's what got me. No trades for me, but no losses. We're at 411. If you're looking for a bounce right here, it would be around this level, but I feel like we may have just lost the buyers at this level. This high, much lower high. I feel like there's a push down right now. If you're looking for a bounce level, it would be right here. These little TTM scalper guys, they keep telling me that the trend is in an uptrend. I'm figuring out if I like this new indicator or not. See this uptrend every time it hits 411. I'm gonna buy one. I'm gonna buy one at 170, just to dabble. I'll keep a small stop at like 130, so I would lose $40 on the trade. It is starting to curl down a little bit though, so be careful. It's not letting me in, guys. I was looking for that 170 fill. It's only one right now, but I would probably try to go with like 2 or 3 contracts. I don't want to get burned because there's only like 12 minutes left for these contracts to have any sort of life to them. It's just going sideways, but they do move, even like a 30-cent move. Starting to lose that 411. If I see 411 down here, below 411, I might try to scoop one for a bounce, but it's hard to buy the wicked candles. All right, 410.99, 410.99, 98, 98. We're starting to lose it a little bit here. I'm very scared because these large dumps can very much happen at the end of the day for an FOMC meeting. There it goes. It's at 130, 140. This is the next support line bounce. Honestly, I probably wouldn't even take a call until I see this uptrend test right here, right at this level. I'm going to try to get some 41.25s here in a second at this test, this uptrend. They're getting real cheap. They're $110 a piece. I'll probably only risk like maybe $80 on these if I can get it down to around like $80. Honestly, at this point, I should probably just buy the 41.20s since they're going to be closer to the money. They'll pay a lot more too. Let's see what we got. Probably just going to go in like one or two of these. Looks pretty bearish. Make sure I got this perfectly drawn. Not loving this. It's looking like it's going to push to the downside. Like I was trying to go, but I switched my whole entire mindset into the end of the day. They didn't really pay too much though. 180 to 350. That's pretty big. We're seeing kind of back and forth right now because it is very choppy. It's only moving like 40 cents at a time, so I'm just trying not to get stopped. I know, I think that we might get some downside, but honestly, at the end of the day, you have to go the opposite way of where it's going. So now I really am looking at these calls, but I think that my next target would be at this like 410.50. These are getting cheap. Only need about 20 more cents over here on the time and sales, so let's see if we can scoop one up for pretty cheap here. These are going to be pretty crazy quick scalps, so just make sure you know that. At this VWAP level, I'll go in for 2. I'll set my stop loss right away, and we'll see if we can make a couple $100. Maybe we'll go in a little heavier. Just never know. Most of the time, remember what I taught you guys, that if you break down a VWAP line like that, or you break down an uptrend like this, you do always usually test it again before you get an extra sell-off. So if you are on the put side, wait for this retest, which is happening right now. If this closes at this like little doji area, then that is where I would start to enter puts. These things are bouncing way too close to like the levels that I want them to bounce at. You need it like almost perfectly at the end of the day. I was looking for the VWAP and I was about 20 cents off. So, but 20 cents is like an extra $90 a contract. So you got to be perfect, or you got to stay away. And every big ass red candle like this always gets bought right back up. So maybe that's the next phase. Might get a rising wedge breakdown like yesterday. I don't remember what happened yesterday, actually. Do you guys? Let's see. Rising wedge breakdown from yesterday. What happened the last 15 minutes yesterday? Yeah, I guess we did get a little bit of a rising wedge breakdown. A little bit smaller and lower at the end of the day, but we had it at the end of the day. You were there. I don't really remember. I have this weird thing called memory loss. I don't know if that's hereditary or if I'm just a slower person or something. I don't really know what's going on, but I don't really remember much. You were there. Oh, my bad. I probably blacked out. I get scared. All I see is candlesticks half the time. I'm so blind. I'm looking at this potential, honestly, for the reversal back up. It's just starting to feel like there's a lot of buyers here for some reason. I don't want to just dabble in because they aren't moving as much, and I just don't want to get stopped because they keep going back and forth. That's the issue. Like even right there before that breakout, it jumped up and jumped right back down. I'm not trying to get stopped out and risking capital for no reason. It is coming down to the last 5 minutes for me to take a trade, though, because I don't want to trade them at 350 because that's when it gets pretty absurd. That's when Theta Decay really kicks in. But this does look kind of good. I did miss the bounce, and then I missed the top, so maybe I'm just being a little hesitant. Bot calls 270, 350 in 15 seconds. Saint, beautiful. Love that. I don't really know if I want to buy these 41.25s. They seem a little far out of the money. I don't really want to buy far out of the money at the end of the day ever because they get shit on if it goes against you. But so do these. So you bought them at 270 to 350 here. This looks kind of weak to me, but it's also back in that uptrend. I'm going to go 1 here at 295, and I'm going to keep a real small stop loss. I guess it doesn't want me in. Well, that's annoying, as that would have been $100 a contract. Just missed out a little bit. But you can tell that that would have been $100 right there, and now it would have been $120 a contract. I just missed out. And it keeps bouncing at this line. The reason that this isn't bearish below this uptrend is because it did test it, but it closed above it. So now it still shows some buyers are there until it breaks down. You can see another bounce at this uptrend. So it's always important to have key levels drawn and make sure that you respect them. 41.25. I don't think that it's going to get to 41.25, and those contracts aren't moving enough for me to take them. I literally only have 4 minutes. I just tried to get in one, but I missed it. It looks like this is kind of rejecting. So, but like I said, be careful because FOMC is tomorrow, so it might just chop into the end of the day. If you're hanging up the hat, you're a better man than I, or woman, or animal, whoever's on the screen. You're better than I am. I just think that I really, really want to grab one. And I've kind of just told you I just want to get in and get out, but it hasn't hit my levels. I was looking for this 411.75 reject. Would have made a good amount of money if I got in a little early, but if I got in early, I probably would have got stopped if it hit my level. So I just want to make sure that I'm respecting all the levels I have drawn. And I missed this one by a centimeter. And then I was looking for calls below this, but I wanted the VWAP level. So there was 2 good trades, and I tried to get one here to make $100. At that point, when I'm in, I'm taking my stop loss and I'm switching it up. So it would have only been 1 contract, so it's nothing crazy or major, but we're right at this line again. Kind of feels bearish though, so. Man, I want to play this so bad. And it's only one, I don't know what I'm scared of. It's only 1 contract. I just feel like I'm just going to miss out. I just have a weird feeling it's going to have a massive move at the end of the day. And you're going to just watch how crazy these contracts get in the next 10 minutes. We could have a little bit of fun with this. Just a little bit of fun. All right, SPY, 15 minutes. Here's the uptrend. We're bouncing. I got the 41.20 calls lined up. They're getting cheap. They're getting sold off. Ah, man. Got the FOMC tomorrow. Honestly, who cares about the FOMC? Maybe I'm just making that think that it's going to be only downside. These are getting cheap, though. $220. Still want this VWAP touch. I don't think I'm going to get it. It did break down this uptrend. So if it closes below this, that's a wrap. But we still have a minute. Then we'd be at that 45-minute mark. We're going to take something. I'm going to take something because I feel like this is going to get pretty wild heading into the end of the day. Maybe I should try to go for like 5 contracts and see if we can make a nice little $1,000 real fast. Like real fast. Like right here, 5 contracts would have just paid me about $800. And this little red candle right here, there's a lot of volume. It's not closing below this uptrend either, which makes me feel like it's pinned at 411. I'm still up 389 on the day on this small account. I don't really want to give those back because we did have a small red day yesterday of 205. So just treading lightly. Want to make sure that we have these more green than red days. 41.20 calls, 263, 10 seconds. Another crazy, man. Crazy day for SPY. I love the volatility. I miss the volatility. I'm usually great in volatility, so tomorrow you're going to see a wild ride with the Federal Reserve meeting. Question is, do I want these calls? I don't want them at 300, and I don't want them at 255. We closed above it again. I'm like, my hand is right on the trigger. It's only one contract. I don't know why. I just have a weird feeling it's going to spike to this VWAP level. There we go. Get them cheaper for me. Now I can feel a little bit more comfortable taking a trade right here at this VWAP. I need it to break below VWAP, though, or else I'm probably just going to hang it up. There we go. Spike. Give me the bounce. Give me the bounce a little bit. 10 more cents here. 10 more cents. They're getting really cheap. It's almost there. It's like 5 cents away. I need to see the test. I'm not going in. I'm not getting in premature and getting stopped at $100. 5 cents. Watch how little this is now. So it's at 165. My stop will be at 135 if I get filled here. So I'll lose $60 on the trade. And it needs to go right away because it's really, really early, or it's really late in the day. So if I lose the money, it'll be like 25, but on any bounce, I'd be making a decent amount. So it's only 2 contracts. I'm probably going to get stopped on this because it still hasn't hit that VWAP. And it's trying to. And these contracts will move. So it's only 25 below, so it's about $50 on the bid too. We're not getting any buyers yet. There we go. There's a little bit of a bounce. Oh, the sellers are back. I'm just going to move this up to $15 loss. I would lose $30 on the trade. The sellers are there. It's the FOMC meeting. I knew they were going to try to sell this off. There's the bounce. I sold them at 145, so I did lose $30 on that trade. They do get super volatile around 345, 350, so just mitigating some losses, and I think that they stopped me out and then bounced me. So still up 349. That was only a $40 loss. I might try to get crazy real quick. I have an odd feeling we're about to get this bounce. This time and sales data, this volume is lacking like crazy. Oh, here it comes. All right, it's definitely not worth 10 contracts. We're getting that volatility that we want, though. It's right at this VWAP, but it's not showing any sign of like a true bounce. It's only giving like 10 to 20 cent jumps before it bounces back down. Not the best. I'm going to hate to look at these puts because I was talking about puts the entire time. And that was about a $300 payout per contract. But that's okay. You know what? We're having fun. And that's all that matters. Call, 41.20. At this VWAP level, I really think that it's going to bounce. We still have 12 minutes, and you can tell how much these contracts move. You have to keep your stops small. So if I lose $40 every time, I'm going to be A-okay with that. 2 contracts could pay me $400 here or $300, and 2 contracts can stop me out $60. I'll take that for 5R every single day. Low-key just kind of enjoy the rush. Getting cheap here. 125s. It's below VWAP. Do we go for it? 410.50 bounce. 410.50. I feel like the seller's got a hold of this pretty nicely. These contracts aren't really pushing that much either. It's because it's 411.16 now. I should probably have to switch these to the 411.15s if I want to get involved, buy less contracts. I mean, they just ran down $240. Theta is getting to them pretty aggressively. I don't think that the spread, it's just the contracts are not moving that much because it's only bouncing. I mean, it's bouncing, but it's only bouncing like 15 cents at a time. But sorry guys, I didn't get to get involved, but it looked like some of you caught some of those big drops. You know, this was the level. I think some of you got in a little early and it ripped down. This is fuck me. This is crazy. It bounced off the VWAP level, but it did stop me about $40. But I mean, these contracts just ran 170 a piece on that little jump. But very volatile at the end of the day. It's a lot better to do the action around like 3 o'clock because they get a lot better from 3 to 3:30. After 3:45, it just gets like it's just a circus. So not worth it at the end of the day. But sometimes you can catch these. Those big spike up days, sometimes contracts are worth like $40 a piece. They end up being like 800 a piece. So there's levels to it. You got to get in, you got to get right out. It is a scalping strategy after about 3:30, but they do pay. If you're on the right side with a small stop loss and you follow it up, you can end up getting real paid. So I think I'm going to stay away these last 10 minutes. It looks like it's pretty wild, but I lost 1K on the pop earlier and just made back 700. I'm done till tomorrow after the FOMC. Beautiful comeback. Beautiful, beautiful comeback. I'm up a little bit on the day. I'm up 350 on the day. I'm gonna just cash that. I was down 205 yesterday on this small account, but we're gonna get it popping off for you guys here pretty soon. It's a $17,000 or $16,000 account. I want to make sure that I can push it up to about, I don't know, at least double it, maybe 50K while I live stream it for you guys. And then my goal is maybe around September, if not the end of the year. But we're going to get the volatility back here pretty soon. So I'll be able to take some pretty nice trades. And it doesn't take a lot to make a lot because, I mean, you just saw these contracts move crazy. So as soon as you start throwing 10 contracts at something and you're on the right side, you're banking out. So here's that jump. I'm going to kill myself after I close the stream because that hurts. Wow. That hurts. Look at this. This little squeeze. It could squeeze the 4130. You're welcome, guys. Stream might not be over yet. I feel like there might be something happening here. Look at this pop on the VWAP. Oh, shit. 4120s were how much? I guess it's not that bad, but damn. Damn. All right. Just a quick little $200 I missed out on, and I got stopped out. Well, it would have been $400 because I had two, but. All right, guys. I'm doing this real quick. We're going to do a little lotto. You guys want to play? 4130 calls. End of the day. It would have to be a blast off above this line. They're only 20 cents a piece, 15 cents a piece. They were 200. Let's see what we can turn these into. There's only 7 minutes left, so we would need a real spike. $0.25 to 125. Oh, it's gonna go. Look at this. This is why I think 411.50 is strong, but this little hammer candle, I don't know how many times I have to say it. This hammer candle has made me more money than anything in the world. At the bottom of a trend, it wasn't necessarily at a bottom, but anytime I see a hammer candle and strength, it pushes. But it does kind of look like it's just going to chop. It's probably not worth it, but it's always fun to check it out and see if it's going to go or not. It's at $45 a piece. They are getting torched. I'm going to throw 50 bucks at it. See if it'll run up to 400 for me. If not, I'm going to stop myself out at 20 bucks. $30 stop. Let's see if we make 300 bucks. Does it have it in it? That's the real question. Just going to throw a little bit of money at it. I know I'm never trading after 345 with anything more than $50. So let's see if we can. Let's gamble a little bit. Let's have an end of day gamble. Maybe I'll make that a segment. End of day gamble. Just throw like 50 bucks. See if we can make a spike out of this. I like this hammer though. I like that hammer candle. We're up to 85. Up to 85. 70% trade right there. Let's see if we can get one. This is going to be pretty volatile. One more red candle to get me out. But here we go. $10 risk. $10 risk. Will it shoot in the next 5 minutes? Probably not. It has no volume now. Kind of died out. But it would be cool to see one just like rip to this green line. It's 41.25 would pay out nicely. Seems to be just stuck. Yeah, it's the FOMC meeting tomorrow. So, you know what? I'm just going to move my stop loss up to break even. We're not going to lose any money on this trade. I'm going to let it go. But nonetheless, we're out flat. Wasn't going to squeeze up that way. But tomorrow we will see a lot of volume, guys. 349 on the day. Going to be able to probably want to take a lot more of these later on. But as of right now, we're just chopping. So Mondays are usually awful. Tuesdays are a lot better. But we do have FOMC tomorrow, so it's kind of just choppy right now. Tomorrow and Thursday and maybe Friday, but tomorrow and Thursday are going to be massive. So Scotty V gambles. Maybe we'll make a segment on that. Only if we have real good days. You know, we'll risk about $30 to see if we can see spikes. And I've seen contracts in the last 5 minutes, the last 10 minutes, go from like 30 to like 900 a piece. So maybe we'll make that a segment, but only on green days, only when we're up. But as of right now, 41.25s, completely dead. Tomorrow, FOMC meeting. I'm going to just cancel all this real quick just so you guys can see. Daily chart, so much room. I can't even describe it. Like 403 tomorrow from 411, $8 move. If we're bullish, 417, but realistically, it's this 418 level. So this is massive. 418, like 17. Look at how much room at the S&P 500 has tomorrow. So as long as it doesn't gap up or gap down like an idiot, we have massive volatility coming in. So tomorrow's going to be huge. We're going to make some real good trades. We're going to make a lot of money off of it all day. In the morning, I'll be streaming from 2:30 from Powell. I'll have Powell on here as well, and we will run it up. So going to be quick in and out scalp trades unless there's a massive direction with the FOMC meeting, and we have seen that many, many times before. And in that case, you can just kind of hold it and follow your stop loss up so you can't get burned on any sort of reversal. But we'll coach you through that. We'll educate you on that. 349 on the day, not bad at all. And we will hopefully tomorrow we can make a couple of grand. So let's start getting this account cooking. Let's start getting the stream cooking. It's nice to be able to have a time slot from 2:30 to 4 every single day so you guys know when to join on. So let's get it, and hope you guys had a great day as well. There was a massive sell-off today and a lot of volatility, and it's good to see it coming back. But if you need me, hit me up. Love you.